Hey guys, it's Kicker22004. We're going to do a review on this little camera from ELP. This is the model number. It is a 2 megapixel 1080p camera. It has a Sony lens in it, or sensor in it, sorry. And let's get into it. I'm going to turn the light on here real quick. It's a little hard to see. I wanted to show you what you get. You get a little metal housing for it. They sell it in 2 variants, with and without metal housing. It comes with a plastic little cover. I will probably make a 3D printed cover to protect it. The main thing about this camera is it has manual focus, which is really nice and is what I really wanted in this camera. The USB cord is about probably 6 inches, or sorry, 6 feet for mine, and it's really thick cable, so I'm surprised about that. It has a mounting screw down here, but I couldn't find one that would hold it. It wouldn't stand in my tripod, so I have to use this 3D printed thing when I do the video of it. So let's jump into the computer real quick and get some details on this camera. Alright, so here we are on the product page. It is the ELP USBFHD D06H, and it has the Sony IMX322 sensor. It's supposed to be good for low lighting. I would say in the video I'm going to show next, it's decent, but it's like most cameras without IR. They're pretty grainy. Specs are pretty simple. They're all right here on their page if you want to read it. Most of the things I'm recording is in an MPEG. You can use H.264. It comes with software. The software is a little buggy for my taste, but it does work well enough, but you have to set a predetermined size first. So I used Windows camera software just to make it easy. I don't typically do these types of reviews. USB 2.0, I wish it was 3.0, but I guess it's not really necessary for something this small. It is 30 frames per second at 1920 by 1080. I can say that does work pretty good, and it is pretty smooth, actually. You'll see that in the video coming up. There's not a lot extra info here. I will say that it installs an audio device on Windows, and they don't really talk much about it here, but it does have a microphone. There it is. Now, on Windows, I was unable to get the use of that microphone. However, in Linux, it does work. So if you're looking at this camera and you're wondering, check out Linux, because the microphone does work. It's not the best, but I wouldn't expect anything fancy from it. So they sell this thing in 2 variants, with the metal housing here and without the metal housing here. And it seems the Amazon, I'm not sure if it comes with or without the metal housing, because either one of these that I check on is the same link. And I think that the company needs to clarify that a little bit better, because I'm not seeing anything here as far as which one comes with what. It seems to be the same exact link for both of these. So, actually, wait a minute. There we are. We have something different there. So, I'm not sure why they would do this. This one comes with a housing for the same exact price as the one without the housing. Very weird. I would go ahead and get the housing. You never know what you want to use it for. Good little camera for good little projects. Tucked away projects or robotic projects. Be good for that. The manual focus, I love it. It's the best thing I could have hoped for from this camera. So again, this is a sponsored video. They sent me this camera, ELP did, for free to do a review, an honest review, and I do an honest review on everything I ever do. So the camera has its faults. As you can see here, there's only one customer review, and it's based on a life cam. And I have a life cam, and I can say they're pretty much on par, but where this one wins over the life cam is that ability to actually work your focus manually like that. I really like that. Some people may not. So anyways, let's jump to the video and see how it does. Alright guys, let's jump into the video portion of this. So what we have here is a 2 megapixel 1080p. Again, I described this already. We're going to do a normal lighting and then a low lighting. So I'm doing it on my printer because I have an overhead light. It's kind of the best to show this. And the low lighting on this camera is a little grainy, but we'll get into that when we get there. The things I like about the camera is the manual focus, and we're going to go all over that. So right now you can see it doesn't really focus on my hand. It's because it's set to focus here. It's about 10 inches away from the camera right now. So ELP, which is the makers of the camera, asked me to do a few things. A low light test, because the sensor is designed for more low light abilities apparently, and zoom. So its full zoom out is where we're at right now. It's not too bad, and I'm going to go ahead and show its lighting transitions as well. Don't mind my printer's a little bit of a mess. I've been doing some upgrades, but there we go. Here you can see not too bad here. And then it switches back pretty quickly. So the light transitioning is not too bad on the camera, I think. So the other thing I had an issue with was the color wasn't quite correct. So that was with their software. I'm going to go ahead and use the Windows camera software right now because I don't really do reviews on cameras. It's the best thing I could see really quickly just to do a really fast video for them. So we're going to go ahead and play with the zoom here a little bit. I'm going to zoom all the way in and try to focus. It's a little hard to do when you start zooming this far in, but there we go. It's not too bad. You can see the lines are not bad here at all. This is 0.2 millimeter is what I printed it at. It wasn't the best print, but it came out okay. And you can still see everything looks pretty decent. This is my daughter's favorite toy. If she sees me playing with this, she's going to come in and demand it right away. But there we are. There's our zoom, if you will. And again, we are 10 inches out still, so it's not a bad zoom on the camera. And again, it can go a little bit further, but for some reason it goes out of focus here. And I haven't been able to figure out where that focus is set to, because you can see even in the background, it's even focused out. So all the way out is here. I'm on a box, and that's how far away we are. So the camera's about right here, and you can see up in there. So not too bad. It's a short range camera. So the things that I want to use the camera for is my open box videos and when I'm working on PCBs and things like that. So you can see the blue is really, really bright, by the way. And this is a pretty rough print I had done a while back. But it does do a really good job of bringing out the textures in it. So let me show you what I'll use it for as far as PCBs, alright? Alright, so here we have a Raspberry Pi 3 board, but it's just a board to show you what I plan to use it for. So on average, when I'm working on any PCB and I'm looking for bad traces or anything that's broken, I have a magnifying setup that I use right now. The interesting thing about this camera, and like any camera, if you've ever seen any people who work with PCBs, any like big shops, they have really, really nice setups with cameras or high magnifying to see exactly what they're working with. I don't have that. Most people that I know don't have that. So a camera like this in a stand that's held would be really nice to put up on a monitor like what it is right now and actually use it to zoom in and focus on the areas that you're working on. So to me, that's what I would use a camera like this for. Either this or again my unboxings so that things don't move so much. And you can really see the traces down in there. And if you get a little closer to it, obviously, you can again focus it in because it is the manual focus. You don't have to worry about it focusing on one little area and not the area you want. You can see pretty sharp down in there. And you can even read some of those chips. Some of the chips are hard to see unless you have the right lighting. So we get some more lighting on this and see if it focuses in. You can definitely record some of those chip names if you really needed to, or just check all the solder connections to make sure you don't have any issues down in there. So that's what I would use this camera for, guys. The manual focus comes in handy to me just because I don't have a really high-end camera that can focus specifically all the time. So that's pretty much it. I was going to show the low light ability, so let's go ahead and move this out of the way. And right now I have the light on my printer off to show you the difference in lighting. What I'm going to do, and it's going to get really dark in here in a minute, move some things out of the way, put the camera back where it was, and I'll get this set up for lighting real quick. Okay, so that right there is with my printer light on. I'll go ahead and turn the room light off. You're not going to see much of a difference there. And what I'm going to do is I will turn the printer lighting off, and you'll see that it's going to try to adjust to the lighting. The lighting in the room is only my monitors right now, so it's quite dark. And you can see it does a pretty good job of still seeing, but you can see the granulars. And this is typical with any low light. This doesn't have IR, so it's pretty much what I expect. But even with any real lighting, and this is behind the camera quite a ways. I'm not pointing it at the products, that's here. You can see that it does pick up and clear up really, really nice. This is with my phone, so it's just a little bit of light as far as the, well, let's go ahead and turn off the flashlight on the phone and just use a white backdrop. You can see here. It does do a pretty good job of actually illuminating the items with low light. So you can see the phone just went off. So if I just turn the phone back on, it's not too bad. I have another camera here that is a webcam, and it's pretty much the same, but it's a life cam, and they come in at the same price range. The benefits are manual focus. My life cam doesn't have manual focus. I have to go in the software and change it to do that sort of thing. and size. This is a fairly small package. If you were going to build like a 3D print a little robot or something like that, an actual like tank or something, you could use this as the eyes in the software if you really wanted to use that sort of thing. So like little robotic projects would be pretty cool for a camera like this, and pretty much things like that. I'm going to probably use it mostly for a time-lapse video for my printer. So when I decide to print things, I might put them up live so people can watch, some of the time lapses. The hours and hours wasted making little toys like this for my daughter. But yes, guys, I'm not very good at reviews for cameras. I've never really done a review for a camera. They're not my specialty. I more or less work with electronics and boards, things like that. But they reached out to me. They asked for a quick review, and I think this is the best I can do, an actual video of what it does and how it does it. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Again, if you want to see the zooming of it real quick, I'll go ahead and zoom it again on this little guy and see the coloring does look quite nice, actually. That's something I was really happy with in this software versus the software it came with. The coloring was quite dull, but this looks quite nice. So anyway, guys, as always, thank you for watching. This is Kicker22004.